Hello, I'm doing my PowerPoint over operant conditioning, which was introduced by Mr. B.F. Skinner. Look at that fine looking fella. So let's get started. Before Skinner, there was Pavlov. Pavlov's classical conditioning focused on reflexive behaviors prompted by specific stimuli. So let's do a quick review over that. He introduced meat to dogs to see what would happen. The meat was the unconditioned stimuli, and the response was the unconditioned response, which was salivation. Every time the dogs were presented with meat, they salivated because it's meat, it's yummy. So then he introduced a bell, which had nothing to do with anything, which made it a neutral stimuli. But once he paired it with the meat, after a while, the dogs began to salivate over the ringing of the bell. Because the bell had been paired with the meat for so long, they associated the sound with the meat. So they hear the bell and yum yum, spit everywhere. So that's what happened. But Skinner said to Pavlov, "Excuse me, sir." Skinner proposed a different type of behavior, one that happens in the absence of an unconditioned stimuli like meat in Pavlov's classical conditioning. These behaviors Skinner termed operant behaviors. Skinner's operant conditioning behaviors focused on actions and consequences. To prove his theory, Skinner invented what we now call the Skinner box. This box contains a small bar for the rat to press, a food dispenser, and a water dispenser. The rats learn quickly that if they press the bar, they receive food. Once the animal has learned that pressing the bar results in food, the operator can change the dispensing of food to every bar press, every few bar presses, or not at all. Let's see if I can get this to play. This is an example of the Skinner box. That's enough of that. So let's talk about consequences and reinforcers. Positive consequences strengthen behavior, while unfavorable consequences weaken or lessen behavior. A reinforcer is anything that strengthens or increases frequency of a behavior. Primary reinforcer satisfies basic needs such as food, water, security, and sex. Take notice of the note. Secondary reinforcer acquire value by being associated with a primary reinforcer. Money is a good example of that. Positive reinforcers are praise, grades, stars, etc. While negative reinforcers is being released from an unpleasant or unsatisfying experience, such as you are released from washing dishes for a week, which would be awesome. More reinforcers include intrinsic reinforcers, getting pleasure from an activity or hobby just for the sake of doing it, and an extrinsic reinforcer, which is receiving praise or awards for engaging in behaviors not usually engaged in. So, how am I going to apply operant conditioning to my high school classroom? I know a lot of you guys teach at the elementary level, but I think that the things that I'm going to talk about apply to any age level. Discovering which types of reinforcers your students respond to is a great first step. For example, my pre-AP class responds very well to bonus points, but most of my non-advanced classes respond better to a candy or free time reward. In my 6th period class, I chose to perform operant conditioning to lessen the amount of disruption by awarding bonus points at random to those partaking in acceptable behavior without being asked. Bonus points only worked for this class because about 75% of the class flunked a test just days before. Very sad experience. Now that my progress reports have gone out, those bonus points mean very little to my 6th period class. Reinforcers I use now to promote positive behavior include candy, watching our favorite YouTube guys on Good Mythical Morning, which that's who that is below, and a look ahead at upcoming bonus questions to tests. Operant conditioning alone is not the answer to highly effective classroom management. Other theories, studies, and strategies exist that work well in conjunction with Skinner's operant conditioning. Finding what works best in your classroom may take some time, but it will be worth it. Your school children should be different on their last day than they were on their first. With any luck, we teachers will be a little different too. Thanks, guys.